Hey guys, how are you doing? Good. So let's uh, start with the session. And in this session, we'll see the code generation implementation part. Now, in this session, we'll cover the different techniques we can use while prompting and get the specific code from the LLM. In this implementation part, we are going to use the OpenAI LLM for code generation, and we'll learn how to write effective prompt and get specific code output. So first of all, we'll install the required packages. We'll install the required packages. So mention as we are using OpenAI. So if you start OpenAI, then we'll import the import and set API key. We'll import and set API key. Okay. So for that, we'll I have the OpenAI API key. So from uh, Google.colab import user data. I'll mention the OpenAI key. OpenAI key equal to user data dot get OpenAI import OS and information. So, and one information open here API with animation one here. Okay. Now, first of all, we'll define a function to get the code from OpenAI. So we'll define a function to get code from OpenAI. Okay. I'll mention the function name as generate code. Okay. And here I will pass the prompt. Then the response should be OpenAI dot chat chat completion. Okay. This is in capital chat completion and dot create. First of all, I'll mention the model. I want the suppose GPT-4, or you can mention the 2.5 curve also. I'll mention GPT-4 suppose, and here I'll pass some messages world, and for I will pass the role that will be for system, and for content I'll pass that you are a helpful coding assistant. So it will act LLM will act as a coding assistant. So you have defined a role for them for the LLM. Then I'll mention the role for the user, and the content will pass the LLM will be the prompt. Okay, prompt. Then we'll mention the temperature. Sorry, mention 0.2. It will basically the low temperature will be there. So it will be for more deterministic output. Okay, and I will give the max token limit as 400. I will return the response for choices, you know, message and content. Okay, now build a function to get the post component. I'll run this then. Now, the next step is to create a basic Python function. That is, we'll see for the factorial. So, basic Python function, that will be the factorial one. So, my prompt will be write a Python function to calculate the factorial of a number is recurring. Calculate factorial of a number using recursion. Okay. Now we print the prompt. I'll print the prompt one, and I will say print generated code. Okay. And I'll make the function that is the generate code, and I'll pass the prompt 1. When I run this, okay, so we got the answer, and it has given a function basically to print the factorial. So this function works by calling itself with the argument and -1 until it reaches 0 to 1, at which this is the description of the code given. So this is one example we saw for factorial. Now we'll look for another. Now suppose we have to get the Java example. Okay. In Java example, we'll go for the palindrome one. I'll mention the prompt 2. I'll just mention generate Java program to that check if a number is a palindrome. Okay. And I will mention upload main method. I will copy this. I will mention here prompt 2. With the given answer, this is the way of prompting and writing prompt for creating the code for our question or the expected answer we want. Now suppose I want some data visualization with matplotlib. So next is, so I want data visualization. Listen, with matplotlib. I'll write the prompt for prompt 3, and I'll mention create a Python script for using matplotlib to plot the sine wave. Mention the prompt 3 and run the cell. So it has given the answer. For data visualization, we saw the prompt. Now we'll see for the SQL query example. Next is SQL query example. Examination prompt 4, and I'll say write a SQL query. Write a SQL to find the top 3 highest paid employees. And from a table name employee. Okay. Next is prompt 4. So it has given a query for the given prompt. In this way, for code generation, you can have a different. We can also use the C language example You need to just mention the prompt properly. You can get a HTML contact form. You can get a Python API integration. So multiple types can be given. Just we need to get the prompt right, and you'll get the expected answer. Now, you will see the techniques for writing the prompts for a while code generation technique. The first one is we need to be explicit. Now, by being explicit, what I mean, we should mention the language if we want to work on, mention the language, we should mention the libraries if we want to use, which you expect the LLM to use, then the method type, okay, and the desired output format. Desired output format. So this is the first technique. We should mention the language. If I'm working on Python, I should mention Python. If I want the LLM to work on Java, I should mention Java. That is the first technique. And second is we should use examples. For examples like we should include input as well as output. Output example, right? Example to guide the model. If you want the particular model to perform according to you, you should provide the model with examples, like how you need to the model to perform by giving some reference example, and you should provide both input and output both. This is one of the techniques. Then third is we should break down the requirement. Third is break down requirement. Okay. So we should so what I mean by break down requirement is to request step by step of model code. We should request step by step or modular code. Next, we should add comments or constraints. Add comment or constraint. So we should ask the model to include comment or avoid certain method. So proper adding comment will be proper documentation and will help understand the code more in a good way. So comments are very important while creating code. Now next is we should request the fifth one is we should request error handling. So we should include a clause like with error handling or with try except. So we should include a clause like with error handling or with try and accept. Next is we should mention the context. We should mention the context. By context, I mean if the function is a part of a larger system. If the function is part of the larger system, then we should describe that context. So describe that context. Next is iterative refinement. Refinement. So we should break down a complex request into a multiple smaller one. We should break down a complex. So it will quite be easy for the model to understand also what actually is our problem statement or what is actually a prompt. So break down a complex request into a multiple smaller one. Okay, that is one. And the last is we should use the system prompt which we used earlier. Use the system prompt. What is system prompt? This is the system prompt that you are a helpful coding assistant. So it basically analyzes the role which is which is assigned to the LLM model. So it will naturally behave like that. If you are saying your coding assistant, then it will behave like the coding assistant. If you mention that you are a clean code expert, if you need more precision or accuracy, at that time you will mention that you are a clean code expert. So you will get the answer in that way. So last is the use the system prompt, and where you can reinforce behavior. Okay? Behavior like for example, you are a clean code expert. This has been the role assigned to the LLM model. And in this way, we can get a more refined code output from the LLM by using this system prompt technique. And I hope you guys understood, and you should practice this while you want any code from an LLM. You should practice this prompt technique, and you will definitely get the expected answer from the LLM model. And the hallucination problem is drastically solved by including this multiple techniques. So practice a lot, and getting an answer, expected answer from the LLM model is also an art. And the more you practice, the more hands-on you will have about this LLM model. So I hope that you guys understood the code experimentation part or the code generation part. And I will see you guys in the next section with the new topic. Till then, take care. Bye.